Today our topic is why taking responsibility changes everything. Life is full of challenges, and sometimes it feels like the world is against us. We face problems at work, in relationships, with health, and even within ourselves. It's easy to blame others or circumstances for our struggles. We might say, "It's not my fault," or "This happened because of someone else." But here is the truth. Taking responsibility for your life is one of the most powerful things you can do. It changes how you see the world, how you act, and ultimately, how your life unfolds. Let's talk about why this is so important, and how it can transform your life. First, let's understand what responsibility really means. Responsibility is not about blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong. It's not about feeling guilty or ashamed. Instead, it's about recognizing that you have control over your actions, your decisions, and your reactions. Even if you can't control what happens to you, you can always control how you respond. This is the core idea of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. When you take responsibility, you stop being a victim of life and start being the creator of your own story. Think about it this way. Life is like a river. Sometimes the water is calm, and sometimes it's rough. You can't control the river, but you can control how you navigate it. If you blame the river for being too fast or too slow, you'll feel helpless. But if you take responsibility, you'll grab a paddle and start steering. You'll find ways to move forward, even when the current is against you. This shift in mindset is what changes everything. It turns problems into opportunities and challenges into lessons. Taking responsibility also builds strength and resilience. When you stop blaming others, you take back your power. You realize that you are not at the mercy of the world. Instead, you are in charge of your own life. This doesn't mean life will become easy, but it does mean you'll become stronger. Every time you take responsibility, you grow. You learn from your mistakes, you adapt, and you become better equipped to handle whatever comes your way. This is how you build resilience, the ability to bounce back from difficulties and keep moving forward. Another important reason to take responsibility is that it improves your relationship. When you blame others, it creates conflict and distance. People don't like to feel accused or attacked. But when you take responsibility, you show maturity and respect. You admit your mistakes, and you work to make things right. This builds trust and strengthens your connections with others. For example, if you have an argument with a friend, instead of saying, "You made me angry," you could say, "I felt upset because of what happened, and I want to understand your perspective." This approach opens the door to communication and resolution, rather than blame and resentment. Responsibility also leads to better decision-making. When you know that you are accountable for your choices, you think more carefully about what you do. You consider the consequences of your actions, and you make decisions that align with your values and goals. This doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes, everyone does, but it does mean you'll learn from them and make better choices in the future. Over time, this creates a life that reflects who you truly are and what you truly want. But let's be honest, taking responsibility isn't always easy. It requires courage and honesty. It's much easier to blame others or make excuses. Sometimes it feels comforting to say, "It's not my fault," because it lets us off the hook. But in the long run, this attitude only holds us back. It keeps us stuck in the same patterns and prevents us from growing. Taking responsibility, on the other hand, is liberating. It frees you from the past and empowers you to create a better future. So, how can you start taking more responsibility in your life? Here are some practical steps. First, pay attention to your thoughts and words. Notice when you blame others or make excuses. This is a habit, and like any habit, it can be changed. When you catch yourself blaming, pause and ask, "What can I do about this? How can I take responsibility?" Second, focus on what you can control. You can't control other people or external events, but you can control your actions, your attitude, and your effort. Third, take small steps. Start with something simple, like admitting a mistake or apologizing when you're wrong. Over time, these small actions will add up and create big changes. It's also important to remember that taking responsibility doesn't mean you have to do everything alone. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. If you're struggling with something, reach out to a friend, a family member, or a professional. Taking responsibility means doing what's best for yourself and those around you, even if that means seeking support. Finally, taking responsibility gives your life meaning and purpose. When you stop blaming others and start taking action, you become the driver of your own life. You set goals, you work toward them, and you create the life you want to live. This sense of purpose is incredibly motivating. It gives you a reason to get up in the morning and keep going, even when things are tough. It reminds you that you are not a passive observer of life, you are an active participant. In conclusion, taking responsibility changes everything because it puts you in control. It turns challenges into opportunities, builds strength and resilience, improves relationships, and leads to better decision-making. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. So, the next time you face a problem, instead of blaming others or making excuses, ask yourself, what can I do about this? How can I take responsibility? This simple shift in mindset can transform your life. Remember, you are the author of your own story. Take responsibility and start writing a story you can be proud of.